Hi all. Today we have a guest who at a very young age started working in IB front office after graduating from JBIMS. So to know more about his journey and how he landed a job in IB front office, watch this video till the very end. Hi Shaswat, how are you?
Hey Vedant, thanks for the warm introduction. Much better. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So thank you so much for coming over here and helping our viewers to understand how to land a role in IB front office. And at a young age, like 22, how you landed after JBMS. It is actually very inspiring. Even I've talked to a lot of friends of mine, and they've been shocked to hear that how can someone at this young age land a job in IB front office. So could you quickly tell us about where you're currently working and where you're working right after JBMS?
Okay, yeah. So currently I'm working at JM Financials. It's a domestic investment bank, and this is my second job post MBA. During my MBA, I got placed at Axis Bank. Got a pre-placement offer in my summers, and Axis Bank has this beautiful opportunity where in their management training program, you can work across you can do like 3 to 4 different stints across the bank and then decide where you want to go. So for me, my first stint was in the IMO department, which was working more towards Access City integration. My second stint was in Access Capital, and over there I was covering tech. The opportunity was very good. I was very fresh during that time. You know how it is, right? Post MBA, being a fresher, you don't know a lot of stuff. So that job was very challenging initially, but the learning curve was very good. And during that time, I figured out probably IB is something that I'd like to explore more. And obviously, the diverse nature of it, post this, you have a lot of options also open if you want to switch to an operational role you'd like to, or if you want to continue in core IB, you can, or tomorrow, say, if you want to go in investing role, PE also gives you an opportunity because day in, day out, you look at businesses, you evaluate them, you learn how they work, understand it. Obviously on superficial level, but it's still there, right?
Understood.
So yeah, I worked there. Then I decided to move to JM, and in JM also I'm covering tech currently. So yeah.
Got it. So in Access, you told us that you were given stints across three different verticals. So were there like particular months that you have to work for example, 2 months in a particular vertical and then 2 months in the next one? And is that when you explored IB?
Yeah, so during that time only, we had like three months of stints in three different departments. My first one was in business intelligence unit. During that, I was very clear that I wanted to do investment banking, at least
Right from
give it.
JBIMS?
Yeah, like during my, like right before my final placements, because I had a PPO, and Access gave the opportunity. I thought a lot. I had done so since the beginning, right before joining MBA in KP, I was placed at KPMG post my graduation. So over there, I did a stint in concurrent audit where I got a small idea about how retail banking works. And post that, during my stint at Axis Bank in my summer placements, I got an idea about how wholesale banking works. So this was that I wanted to give it a shot because, doing banking throughout now, one more stint. So I thought before making up my mind, this is something I need to explore. And yeah, so first stint was in BIU because at that time they didn't have any vacancy in Capital. My second stint was at Capital. And third stint was in the IMO department, which was working on the Access City merger.
Got it,
So
got
yeah.
it. But did you find any challenge to shift to IB role because probably the company would think that you're too young for IB and which is why it is not suitable for you to work in an IB role? Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, breaking into IB was very tough because obviously there are a lot of CAs you compete with, a lot of MBAs you compete with, and these people come with a lot of experience, like pre-MBA experience. They know how the markets work. They at least know how these statements and all,
Mm,
how strong their grip is
mm,
on accounting, finance,
mm.
everything. So breaking into IB is tough. In that sense, you will have to, know what you're doing, and also at the same time, you should know about businesses, how do they function, right? Having all this without doing any jobs is a problem, but I think for me, Access gave me that opportunity and I'm very lucky for it. And yeah, that set me up. The first 3 4 months only, I was it was struggling initially, but then
Mm.
you get a gist of it, how things work, and yeah, you just have to keep on doing the same thing every day, every day, every day to get
Got
better
it.
at it.
Got it. Got it.
So yeah, post that, uh, it was much better.
Perfect. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Could you just tell us the kind of projects that you work on, the kind of people you interact with on daily basis, and your working hours?
The third question is something which I'd like to take first, but let's go ahead in the order that you said. Uh, in terms of what I do, so JM is more towards public markets. They do more IPOs, fundraising,
Hmm.
more IPOs in that nature. Yeah, so JM is more looks more towards public markets, and I am in the coverage team. I cover tech at JM. What I do is I help companies raise funds either through private market or get them listed over the main board. So this is my job more throughout. I look at companies similar to Zomato, Nykaa, cover all those consumer tech companies more or less.
Got it.
Uh, yeah, so this is about my work. How much hours do I work? So IB requires a lot apart from working, right? You can be good at Excel, you can be good at PPT. After a while, you will build a hang of how to think, how to make slides, how to run a model, right? It comes with practice. But what the job requires a lot is you need to be updated. So 20, like 24/7, there's something happening across, right? There are some deals happening, so you need to read a lot. So I start my day usually around 9:30, and the first half an hour is going through your emails, and the next half an hour is reading and all anything like what's happening in the markets, right? Because you need to have a perspective before suggesting your clients on what to do
Correct.
in that sense. Yeah, usually there's either a couple of pitches happening during that week where
Hmm.
you're fighting with other banks for an IPO. There's already a mandate that you're running, you're helping a company. Once you get the mandate, you run it to, there are various DRHP processes that happens, and then you help them to get through the IPO line. So, or a private transaction where you're solving investor queries. There are investors you're talking to day in, day out, solving their queries. So, usually your day goes in such things.
So 9:10 p.m. is when you reach home, and 9:30 in the morning is when you reach the office. So you
Yeah,
wake
yeah,
up
yeah.
much
9:30,
before.
9:45 is when you check in. So, yeah, I leave early,
Hmm.
but 9:30, 9:40, because you have to be there because there's a
Correct.
lot to do, right? And
Hmm.
it's all up to you. You can
Hmm.
rather not read and just do the work and come, but that doesn't add a lot of value to what you're doing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. And as you talked about raising funds from private equity and also when it comes to going public, so you'd be interacting with a lot of top-notch people of that industry on daily basis, and through which you'd be getting a lot of knowledge, if I'm not wrong. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's the most fun part about this job, that a 23-year-old or 24-year-old gets the opportunity to work with people who have actually done so much in their life, who has actually built something, right? These
Mm-hmm.
are the senior management people, the CFOs, the CEOs of the company, the head in finance, etc. So imagine the half an hour exposure with them only fills you with a lot of knowledge, right?
Correct.
And asking the right questions again will only help you to
Correct. Correct.
get something out of them.
Hmm.
So in terms of exposure, it's crazy. And yeah, I mean, you see people on Shark Tank, but this job helps me to meet those people. So again,
Right.
it's
And
very
it would also feel good, right? When you worked on an IPO and it goes public, that day you did feeling like it was me who worked on this and now it's public. So the feeling would be
Yeah, I
really
mean,
nice.
you treat that company, that IPO as your own, and you
Hmm.
give it all, because making it on the Indian bourses is again
Hmm.
one of the very important things in a company's journey,
Correct.
and your helping them do that is adding a lot of value to them and to yourself also.
I can
So yeah,
understand.
that makes you feel like, yeah, you have done something good, and you're
So
yeah.
guys, at just 22 and 23, Shaswat gets to interact with the top people, top executives of a company, and at the same time, he has to work for minimum 12 to 14 hours in the company. But here's the interesting question that I'll be asking now. What's the salary range? I mean, we've heard a lot that the guys who are in the front office of IB, they earn like crazy money. So just help us understand actually when it comes actually from a person who works in IB front office, then we can actually know that what's the actual range and not trust on what's written on the net.
So usually the range First of all, a very nice question I'd like to answer.
Hmm.
Usually the range post MBA for, working in a domestic and global would be somewhere between 25 to 45.
This
And
is
this is your
fixed.
fixed component. Yeah,
Okay.
this is your fixed component. And post that, obviously, how in a year, how do you perform? Because the teams are very small, right? And there's a lot of business that you're doing.
Hmm.
In the sense, you're covering a lot of clients. You have to every 2 3 months you're like helping 2 3 companies at least
Hmm.
do something or engaging with them. So in terms of bonuses, if the year is good, if you get closures, it should range any the bonuses should be anywhere between 80% to 150%. And
Wow.
yeah, so the money is like very nice in IB, but also the hours are long, so there's always
But
uh,
25 to
perks.
45 fixed plus 80 to 150% bonus.
Yeah.
Hmm. And at the age of 24, which you are right now.
That's yeah, that is good. Like, what can I say?
So guys, even if we just take average salary, the lowest salary of 30 lakhs in hand and bonus for a good year around 90 to 100%, you're getting somewhere around 60 lakhs in hand. And if you consider taxes as 30%, 18 lakhs are gone and it'll be somewhere around 42 lakhs in hand. Because that's the amount of money that you make in IB front roll just in the start, and there's no end to it. It increases exponentially, right? If I'm not wrong, Shaswat, according to your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it does because the amount of work also increases like
Correct, yeah.
day or the more you grow
And
up.
you
So
become more efficient and you do your work faster
right,
also with time.
right. So
Correct.
that all happens.
So there's
The
just
growth is
one.
really good in IB. I mean, just to add to it, the growth is really good in IB. And though people from outside look at it as money that you get is something that motivates, but money is an important thing. It does motivate you. But I think while doing IB, if you don't like the job, it's very difficult to survive because putting in 13, 14 hours a day for something you don't like is
Hmm.
it doesn't like happen for very long. You
Hmm.
can probably be in the system for 6 months, 8 months, but then there's a lot of you will get tired of it. There will be breakdowns, and then you probably look for something else.
And
So yeah,
13,
you
14
have to
hours
be.
is also minimum, right? Because I've seen you sleep just for 5 hours also some days. And the next day you
Yeah,
have
I
to reach
mean,
back to the office.
there were days when I've come home at 6 a.m. and like started my work again at 9 a.m. in the morning
That's
for like
crazy.
3 4 days in a row. But yeah, domestic is not that hectic. But when you look at global banks, they work like almost like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at night and then start again at 9. So yeah, it gets
Very,
a bit
very
challenging.
impressive. Very
Yeah.
impressive. So there's just last question now. What would you suggest for our viewers, for aspirants who are as young as you, who are probably wanting to get into an MBA college right now, or who are already in an MBA college, that how do they land a job in IB front office? Any suggestion for them?
Yeah, I think my first boss at Access Capital kept on saying that a lot to all the people who have joined. I think as bankers, you don't have a lot of assets to sell. The only asset you have is your brain, the knowledge you pass on to the client, and that only comes with a lot of reading. So you have to read a lot, read what you like or read what you love till you love reading. So read as much as you can, build perspectives, try to look at put yourself in situations and try, giving your opinions over it. Yeah, reading comes with that. Apart from that, yeah, if you really like finance, you need to get your basics very strong. Like it should just be there. So these two things, and yeah, I mean, internships do help. So there are a lot of unpaid internships in IB that you need to do for long hours, but yeah, that builds a lot of knowledge on what actually happens, right?
Mm.
When you're doing it day to day, you get some perspective about it. So yeah, internships help. You have to read a lot, and yeah, just keep pushing. So these are the three things that I would like to.
Got it, got it. And also, if I'm not wrong, a good college like JBIMS, from where you can
Yeah.
get such roles. So,
Yeah, obviously, MBA does. I mean, for me, breaking into JM was because Access had happened, and Access had only happened or would have only happened if I was from a tier one college, and JB played an integral role in it. Because as freshers, you are only just for the tags you have, and these tags. are there because they build a lot of knowledge in you. They build a lot of character in the person you become, right? So yeah, JB has done that a lot to me. And at the same time, I think what you guys are doing over there, uh, like with TTP, is very inspiring in a way. One, because anyone who does anything in education is not only because of the money, because there is something much bigger to it. And second, I've gone through your modules and everything. If I would have something like this during my prep, I'm sure it would have been very easy for me to, uh, get into an MBA college. So yeah,
Thank you.
a
Thank you
good
so much for that,
plan.
Shaswat. So, guys, if you want to get into colleges, top colleges like JBIMS, we are always there to help you prepare the top percentile. We have recorded lectures recorded by the toppers itself. We've actually showed our tips and tricks which we had used to crack CET. Along with that, we even have live lectures taken by CET toppers, mock series, the top percentile mock series created by the CET toppers themselves, mentoring sessions, doubt solving sessions. So you can use all these things to, help yourself with the preparation and eventually get into JBMS and hopefully land a job like Shaswat did, IB front roll, if you're interested. So, thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. Thank you so much, Shaswat, for being with us.
Thank you for hosting me. And please, guys, like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you so much for that. Bye bye.
Yeah.